Hello everyone, welcome to another week of the ALTTP Randomizer Spoiler Log Tournament. This is the last week of our Swiss tourney, so I hope you guys are ready to strap in and watch a really nice race. These runners are both 5 and 1. They both have pretty good odds of making it into the top 8. That being said, they're both trying to secure some as high seeds as they can, so they're both really looking forward to ending this Swiss round with a win here. I am Hammer Pro, and I am joined in the booth by Mercer today. How are you doing, man?
Pretty good. Looking forward to this one. Even if, like you said, there's a pretty good chance that the person who does not win today will still make it on breakers. A win 100% guarantees making the top 8 of this tournament.
And you guys are in for a treat. If you are unfamiliar with the spoiler log tournament format, basically how it works is our runners have 15 minutes to run through the spoiler log before they start. As you can see on Freddeh's side, we have about 10 seconds left. That spoiler log gives them everything they need to know, from the item locations to the rupee crab drops to the stun prize, all that stuff. And they have devised a route, and they are going to be going through this low percent as fast as they can. So a bunch of skip checks, a bunch of skip safeties, and not a whole lot of health. Strap yourselves in, because here we go.
Yeah, and a lot of times in these spoiler races, we've seen kind of slightly different starts that just kind of converge, 5-10 minutes in. Not today, they both start in Sanctuary, both heading the same general direction.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of what we'll see are the seed's natural choke points. Like, you can do A, B, and C, or you can do C, B, and A, but then after you're done with that, you're going to have to go do D, E, and F all in order before you can either do G or H or J or K.
And we do see the fire rod there in Lostwood, so, Osse will definitely have to go get that at some point.
Also see a full heart there, which is not something we pass up very much if it's along the way. Those 3 bombs and blinds hideout make early bomb routing pretty nice. And another heart there in Mushroom Spot.
Yeah, some early full heart containers. You're not going to complain about that. These are obviously among our best runners in the tournament. That's why they're 5 and 1. But even so, you're not really wanting to do this game on 3 hearts and green mail. Ooh, and a very early hammer.
I've been here since the start. Sorry, it was right there.
And might just see planning on going by there after this. And there's our early cape.
Yeah, cape's one of those things that kind of makes you wonder. I'd be a little bit more worried if we run across this lamp somewhere early. This seed might be shouting Aga. Nice mirror there, though. That's something that's really nice to grab along early. It makes routing a heck of a lot easier in most circumstances, and basically just prevents you from orphaning a bunch of stuff. Wow, super early Moon Pearl too.
Yeah, you were saying something about that to go with the cape. Also, just worth pointing out here, Swamp Palace is a pendant today. In fact, our green pendant. So maybe you didn't want to see the mirror until very, very late.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
I mean, obviously our runners already know whether they need to go to Swamp or not. But, if they couldn't get the mirror until GT, there'd be no chance.
That's a fair point. That'd be kind of an interesting thing. I don't think that happens very often in Seeds. Mirror in GT. So Osse is continuing on, heading into Mini Moleworm Caves. Not a surprising stop here, as there are 5 items around here once we get past the lovable worms that are perfectly predictable and don't dodge bombs and don't go through the... Yeah, thanks for proving my point, guys.
I mean, at least there's a backup plan in the event that Osse runs out of bombs. Could pull out the hammer. That sounds like fun.
Oh, yes, with 2 hearts. Let's pull out the hammer on the mini Moldorms. We do have a glove there and a really nice bomb refill, so Aga is dead unless we have something on Lumberjack. Alright, now the fun continues. We're headed over towards Ice Rod Cave with 2 hearts, so don't let a crab touch you.
Generally a good rule of thumb for life. Gonna take the fake flipper out, it looks like. May just be fake flippering in general and not going to ice. Yeah.
Looks like it. Well, the mini Moldorms are being equally as annoying on Freddeh's side, so at least there's that.
I've been told Boss RNG is seated for the randomizer.
Does that continue to mini Moldorms too?
It seems like a boss room to me. For the record, it does not. Just to be clear.
Dang it, Mercer! Alright, so with 4 and 5 hearts respectively, it's time to go say hello to the Dark World. It's perfectly safe here, we swear.
Yeah, apparently not much hype today, since neither of our runners even approached it.
That cave didn't even garner a second look. It was just, yep, head north, keep moving. Looks like we are headed straight for Stumpy.
Well, let's see what Stumpy... Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, gotta go fast. You know, all things considered, a sub 6-minute boost that was sitting on Stumpy, that's not a bad seed overall.
No, there's time yet. Oh, here's some more mobility. Okay, sure. Runners continue on in, different universes, but the same general screen. At least until Osse starts towards Stick Game.
Yeah, looks like there was a bit of a second thought there. Nice red goo grabbed from Freddeh there in the library. That is not something we're going to say no to.
Shortcut the maze race, looks like.
Yeah, it does. I wonder what's over here since Freddeh has decided to skip it.
The ice rod that is going to be required today. Turtle Rock is a pendant, or not pendant, crystal. Words.
You got it. You're getting there.
Freddeh may just be planning on heading south after activating the bird. Osse still has to go get the fire rod out of Lost Woods. But Freddeh does not. But maybe I'm wrong.
Now, skipping that thus far, looks like we're headed into the Dark World on Freddeh's side. Actually, this is pretty good routing by Osse. Not gonna have to go into the forest but once. You know what? He just did it to me too, Mercer. No worries. Headed up the mountain instead.
Yeah, may want something from up here first. I mean,
Really
doesn't
nice
have a
use of the hook.
sword currently, so couldn't complete Skullwoods anyway.
That's a good point. Probably. Oh, well, yep, there it is. Probably don't really want to deal with blind too much without a sword, but Freddeh is hopping in here, so either we are committed to doing some swordless strats, or we're going to find a sword in here.
I mean, 5 heart hammer blind is fine, right?
Yeah, sure, for someone else. Oh, French vanilla mitts. That's kind of a fun place to find those.
Yeah, with that sword from the mountain, I see heading back towards Skullwood, so maybe planning to beat it right now.
And a book.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's usually a find you're not too happy to come across, especially not as, well, you know, Desert's a pendant, and we have access to it already without the book anyways, so, Freddie's going to want to be careful here. 3 hearts. Actually, Osse sitting at full health, but only with 4 hearts. But that sword does make dashing quite a bit more friendly. As I say that, Freddie just absolutely gets through that room really, really nicely, except for that small issue there with the anti-fairy at the end. But overall, really nicely done. And then using a fire rod there, not a bad idea.
Oh, and Osse takes a hit there. Not gonna lose too much time to that one, but still annoying.
Yeah, it's not necessarily... Oh my goodness, that was close. It's not necessarily just about time loss. Like, a death, even if it loses a minimal amount of time, just... Oh, well, speaking
Freddie's
of
hurts
deaths,
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the floor had finished exploding yet. The explosion animation had started, but I did not really catch if the floor.
Think
it makes a
did?
big difference on how much time you just lost.
Yes. And not only does it matter, like, whether or not it actually blew up, but Freddeh has to be certain that it actually blew up, or else you're going to have to go up the...
It's just stuck into the blind room if you're not sure, but it looks like he's certain one way or the other. I mean, we have audio from Osse's side. Freddeh will know more from the audio cues.
Yeah, that is fair.
There.
That is a terrifying hallway to go through with no sword. And yeah, Freddeh is going with the it has been blown up.
Yeah, so as long as he's correct about that, and I'm assuming he is, that's less bad than it could have been, although still a pretty bad death.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations it's really easy to overlook, because especially if you're sitting here and watching them play, you know, they very, very infrequently get hit. So the fact that our runners are sitting on 2 hearts or 3 hearts or 4 hearts, it doesn't end up being a problem until they get hit. And then they instantly go from, hey, I'm okay and I have a decent amount of health, or nearly a full amount of health, as it were, to I'm 1 hit away from being dead, to I'm dead. And that's the big issue with the spoiler log race, is that it sneaks up on you fast.
Yeah, there are a few game modes for the randomizer that result in doing a lot of Thieves Town on low percent, like on 3 or 4 hearts. Freddeh, I'm guessing, is pretty good at those, judging by doing this hammer blind.
Yeah, it looked like he got gypped on that second shot, though. I think the second hammer was a little bit early, so he had to hit him a 4th time. And now with on 1-hit KO...
Gonna use the potion, yeah. It does have the cape for, like, could turn on the cape and then grab the wall to get through this transition, but just, you know, does the dodge. Meanwhile, Osse threw the fight with that sword. So yeah, I think that time invested in going and getting that sword may have been well worth it.
Yes, almost definitely, because, I mean, I'm not going to guaranteed say that it would have saved the death from Freddeh's side, but there's a chance. And then on top of that, the amount of time that was saved on the blind fight itself was substantial.
It's just the ability to dash more freely through rooms. We get a nice bow placement there directly next to Thieves Town. And yeah, it looks like Osse heading towards Skullwoods now. Gonna have to mirror over to grab the fire rod, but that's easy enough.
It looks like Freddeh is headed somewhere as well. If this is Skull Woods, either there's a sword here, or there's not, and this could be trouble.
Yeah, either he's just getting something from the front, or there's a sword here. I think. I mean, it is possible he forgets about the requirement for a sword to complete Skullwoods. You have to have it to cut the curtains to get there. But more likely there's a sword here that he's about to grab. Especially given that he's heading for this chest, which you wouldn't go to without something there.
Just able to sneak in front of that Gibdo. That is a terrifying room with those things around. I know I don't want to necessarily call it a script, but there's a way to get through it easily. It's just not fun. And yeah, like you mentioned, nice sword there.
Your reward is you get to do a 5-heart Mothula fight with Fighter Sword.
Yep, and that red goo that you had earlier is spent, so good luck.
Yeah, throw a full bar of magic for fire rod shots, or, the cape. And down to 3 hearts.
Yeah, that makes that 3 hearts.
There is some opportunity to pick up hearts, though, along the way, if he chooses.
There's also some opportunity to lose them, unfortunately. This is going to be a very scary fight.
And is going to grab a couple of refills here. Yeah. So, Mothula is kind of an interesting fight because no matter what armor you're on, the spikes always do 1 heart. So, if you're in a position where you have to take damage, depending on your armor, it may be better to head for the Mothula damage or head for the spikes. In the case of Freddeh right now, he'll want to head for the spikes because it's only going to do 1 heart instead of 2.
Yep, but don't worry, because Mothula will use the same trick against you, as spikes do 0 damage to Mothula. So any damage done to Mothula that results in them bouncing off the spikes doesn't count.
Just casually using the vertical hammer hitbox here. I believe needs 1 more hit. Some of these getting invalidated from the spikes, as you mentioned. But there it is.
Let's go ahead and pretend like that's genuinely an easy fight. Yeah, holy cow. And Osse destroying the moth too. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Osse had the Master Sword, so a little easier fight, but I think Freddeh's was, if anything, a touch faster. Very nice on both sides, though.
Alright, so with Osse being the one continuing out and Freddeh headed towards King's Tomb instead.
This may just be Osse not saving quitting as we find the flippers there. You remember that thing earlier about finding the mirror and swamp and all?
Do not speak of Green Pendant Swamp.
I see grabbing something from Graveyard Ledge.
And Freddeh doing a flute over to the Mire area, but then deciding against it, so we're headed back towards... Nice lamp!
Okay.
That's something Freddeh's not grabbing.
No, yeah, that's the reason for the route difference. I do think Freddeh's was faster for getting 2 flippers, but we'll have to do dark rooms in, at least Turtle Rock and Pod, and Eastern, whatever those are worth.
Yeah, the dark room in Eastern's not really going to be a big deal, unless, I guess if you have to do the dark room leading to the vanilla big key chest, that's kind of a pain. But Fire Rod makes the other one pretty easy.
So there are ways to bypass the flipper requirement here for the Hylia Island, but they probably take longer than just grabbing those flippers. As Freddeh heads back towards the mire area with that ether, which is the key to mire in hand. The mire is also a pendant, but still, that's maybe what they wanted.
Yeah, since Freddeh dropped here and then decided not to mess with it and then came back with the ether medallion, there's something in mire. Yay!
Good times.
Use the hammer on the bird! Do it!
The good news is it might not require any of the mire dark rooms, which can be quite lethal even if you're good at them on low health. There's a lot of that, shooters and spikes and that kind of thing.
Well, as long as we don't see the Cane of Samaria in here, we're going to be safe from those dark rooms for the time being, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it would only be if, it's a ped seed or there's an item on Vitreous anyway.
And with Osse following him into mire, there's definitely something in here we need to grab.
Yeah, that ether is also our entry into Turtle Rock, so with the fire rod found, that's the fire for the day.
And this sword advantage from Osse definitely saving quite a bit of time in that room there, having the sword beams to go against.
Yeah, though I think Freddeh was down a heart anyway, so even with Master Sword, he wouldn't have had beams. Oh, good. We're heading towards the cutscene chest.
I'm not sure if Freddeh just did that out of habit, or didn't realize that that bottom door doesn't open to the torches and you didn't have to do that.
Almost certainly have it.
That's honestly one of the hardest things to get over for one of these spoiler log races, is that there's so much stuff that you can skip, that like certain strats that you have for rooms, like you walk into a room and you just light the 4 torches, because you're here, that's what you're going to do, and you come across a point where you might not need to.
Yeah, in a non-spoiler tournament, you would almost certainly never head towards the...
Oh no! So, Mercer, about that item. Can you dig it?
And that's actually not the worst. Yeah, so Freddeh gonna route in that maze race with going to the dig spot. I do think Osse's mirror over was probably a little faster than this, but this isn't a disaster.
Yeah, and with the fact that Freddeh does need that ice rod, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other at this point.
Oh, you said something about the cane earlier, right?
Look, as long as we don't go back into mire, everything's fine, okay?
Oh, that would be a seed.
Could you imagine playing this blind? Ugh.
Osse gonna need to be a little cautious. Overall death in this area is not great.
Yeah, and with a heart and a half, if anything looks at you, you're dead. So we're gonna have a stop at the back of the hospital. So.
Yeah, some true divergence here is Freddeh. I believe this is the hook shot. Let's see if he heads into ice after. It's a bottle refill. Let's see what it is. Berry. Okay, not bad. That's a nice bit of safety.
Especially if you're still sitting on 5 hearts green now. Oof.
That was a rude knockback from that fireball. I'm not quite sure how that works in a physics sense.
would it work in a way similar to the Ganon Fire Bass, where it just knocks you in the opposite direction of whatever you're holding? So, quick point of order. Unless there's Bombos here, or one of these enemies is in the magic pack, Freddeh's gonna be hurting for magic here in a second.
Yeah, that is true.
Especially because we have this wonderful new trick called Icebreaker, and it saves a boatload of time, but uses,
Not
a
a
little bit more magic.
significant amount of magic. That's not really a problem. Doesn't even have the option to get to full health currently for sword beams for that particular doubling shots trick. So yeah, gonna have to find some magic refills.
Yeah, nor does Freddeh have the sword for it, so unless there's a sword sitting
Right.
here, that's moot too.
Nice icebreaker.
Nicely done. And it looks like Osse messed up grabbing the bridge chest versus the ledge chest there. That's one of the really easy things to mix up in the in a spoiler log. When you're looking through it, you've got all these locations for particular dungeons, and if you don't know where, for instance, the map is in the vanilla game or the compass, or you accidentally look at the big chest versus the big key chest, that can really throw your routing off.
Freddie may have routed with that as a small key in mind. Let's go back up and grab the key there. I didn't even know about those two small magic refills, I'm going to be honest.
I didn't know they existed either, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough unless he can get his hands on another small key for that safety room off to the side, or refill room, whatever you'd like to call it.
Yeah, should be able to, although if he's going to do the freezer room, that's 2 more shots worth he's going to have to refill. 3 more shots worth. Yeah. Okay, well, there's Master Sword, so with full health, which is 3.5 hearts away, could do it with as few as 4 fire rod shots.
Yeah, but then it becomes a point of how do you get that health?
Gonna maybe this.
Even if it's the stun prize, and we don't have the mushroom, so we can't even fake powder our way into that.
Yeah, chat bringing up, he does have a fairy, so could get to full health from that, but would still need at least half a bar, and that would rely on getting all of the hits doubled.
Outside of Ice Palace shenanigans here, we have a really nice fight for Osse there.
Okay, gets these. So now has half a bar. We'll be up to 6 shots worth after grabbing the 2. Oh, well, there's another refill. Probably
So
will
that-
need to burn the fairy.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure the two pots there isn't going to be enough to fill things up. Well, there's a heart, so never mind. We're good.
Okay, yeah, he'll have to get at least 1. So what we're talking about with this beam trick, because he does not quite have a full bar, won't be able to. We'll have to get that at least once. If you shoot off a sword beam immediately after a fire rod shot, the game processes that as fire rod damage.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it is a
Takes the hit,
wonderful,
but fortunately
awesome.
had already gotten doubles. Oh no! Does have that fairy still.
Oh, that was not a fun reaction by Cold Stare right there. That was one of those, oh, so you're going to use glitchy little strats to get out of the magic requirement. Well,
Yeah.
I'd like to come say hello to you.
Yeah, and I mean, looks like he's going to get this, although it's certainly still dangerous. Down to 2 pups now.
Yeah, we're at 1 hit
As he
KO.
get the bombos out of Eastern. Osse going to be doing this fight with Tempered Sword as we get the Cane of Burna off Cold Stare. I think that routing is going to, you know, even ignoring the trouble to get magic, which definitely costs Freddeh some time there, I think having Tempered Sword would be a big game changer there for Osse.
Yeah, there's definitely, I would definitely give Osse the nod in terms of dungeon routing and in what order Osse has chosen to do the dungeons, and definitely using these to make certain dungeons easier in the future, and that is most definitely going to help him out quite a bit here. Not to mention that early sword on top of Spec Rock that just made everything a lot more fun, actually.
So yeah, Freddeh going to go to the double dip right behind Osse.
And going to be a little bit of a high five here. You know, that quick kill was looking so good, too. The thing I've noticed about Armos, honestly, even as the first boss in the game, other than the key guard for Hyrule Castle, something to consider a mini-boss, no matter how good you are and how many tens or hundreds or thousands of times you have faced the boss and successfully done the quick kill, there's this small chance that remains larger than it really ever should be, that you're just going to somehow mess up the quick kill, stand in the wrong spot, be a little too high, a little too low, that sort of thing. And it happens no matter who you are. At some point, the Armos Knights are just going to get their pound of flesh.
By which you mean, like, an extra 2 seconds.
It feels so much worse than that, though.
That is the widest pound of flesh of any boss in the game. Most of the others are much more, you know, might kill you sorts of things.
That's fair. Even Landmo's pound of flesh could be like an extra 30 seconds. And I'm not even going to talk about Moldorm's Revenge. That still gives me nightmares.
See how Osse's icebreaker clip goes here. I've watched excellent players lose multiple minutes to Moldorm in tournament races before, so...
You know, you said that with a little too much enjoyment, Mercer. Like, I get it, but can you hold down the glee a little bit?
No.
Yeah, no time lost there for Icebreaker. That was insanely fast. Alright, so after this, we just have a quick climb up the mountain for Osse to go ahead and take out these last 2 dungeons. And it's going to be straight to GT to finish this sucker up. The seed was pretty friendly overall, I'd say.
Yeah, although Quick Trip and Turtle Rock, not really the same.
Look, it's as quick as it can be, okay? Turtle Rock's doing its best. It's not its fault, it's super linear.
Yeah, so because of the bombos from Eastern, Osse able to just drop in with less than, you know, full magic access.
Yep, and Tempered Sword giving us decent potential of this being a very quick fight. Oh wow, it's interesting to see Osse not even really worry about getting the pups in the corner for any extended period of time. Just letting the Fire Rod and the Fire Sword go ahead and handle that for him. Pretty nice.
And meanwhile, Freddeh down to 2 hearts against Homa, but the mask is off.
Yeah, but that tail is off too.
Gonna switch to arrows. Oh!
Oof.
Okay, Osse heading into the refill ferry, probably for arrows. Yeah, goes ahead and spends most of the remaining money on arrows.
Not a bad call. Doesn't have a bottle to buy a goo anyways, and with that 125 just burning a hole in his pocket, might as well get a refill of arrows. The last thing you want to do is hop into GT and need some arrows.
Yeah, there are some along the way in Turtle Rock, but you know, now you've got 35 of them. You don't have to think about it.
Ah, muscle memory once again rearing its ugly head. You know, and as I mentioned, not having a bottle, nice blue goo pickup there.
Yeah, this being a spoiler tournament, one of the biggest differences between this and your normal randomizer tournament, other than all of the seeds being much shorter, is that runners are allowed to actually kind of take a look in and see where things are going. Osse may choose to route in a couple of additional safeties. May have been planning to pick that up anyway, but if he knows he's got a lead here, and he most decided does right now, may want to make sure that nothing disastrous happens to change that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Being able to just metagame live against your opponent is not something you can usually do during a random. It has more similarity to an NMG vanilla game race in that regard, where the runners are allowed to either watch each other's streams or watch the restream if they want to hear my terrible commentary.
But even in an NMG one, though, the gap usually isn't going to be, you're doing much lower percent than you would do in anything other than actual low percent. And even there, like, you're not doing hammer blind and low percent NMG. Or for that matter, fighter sword, or I guess you would do Master Sword helmet. I don't know how many hearts you have. I guess now you despawn them, so maybe just 3.
I have no idea, honestly. Like, watching one of those races is amazing to do, but I could not imagine.
Yeah, I think there's a reason they took, there used to be one-hit KO dedicated modes in the randomizer, so they're no longer there. So Turtle Rock's certainly not trivial on Greenmail and 6 hearts total. For starters, there's, this one room full of enemies that will do 6 hearts on Greenmail.
Yeah, this being the dungeon that has Pokies and Chain Chomps and other Mario enemies, the amount of damage they do really kind of shows you why Mario tends to die in like 1 or 2 hits. But the D-boost there goes through without any difficulty, and nice powder on an anti-fairy to refill, and we are fresh with 6 massive hearts heading towards the back here.
Freddeh heading towards Armos Knights will then be able to join Osse on the mountain.
And deciding not to skip the big chest there, as you can see, having a wonderful small key for us today. With that being said, I think Osse will be able to potentially skip Laser Bridge. Should be able to, unless there was a key in that lava chest.
Only skipping Laser Bridge if there is a key here, which looks like there may be.
Yeah, but I don't think there could be two keys on Laser Bridge, so there'd have to be either one key in the lava chest that we didn't get, or two keys on Laser Bridge, which there can't be. So that's... I think I did that right in my head, but, you know, key logic has never been my strong suit.
Fair enough. And Freddeh is going to grab this tempered sword.
Yeah, probably wishing he had it earlier for a couple of those boss fights.
And
it looks like we're going to grab an ether tablet.
Yeah, something here off ether. Oh, blue mail.
Oh my goodness, it's a genuine piece of armor. Heck yeah. I think the chain chomps won't quite kill us in one hit.
Gonna knock out Hero first, looks like.
Nice phase one there. Now we just have a wonderful little turtle we gotta blow up.
Runners have bosses exploding at the same time for their 6th crystals. But don't be deceived, Osse still got a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, if only TR was as fast as Hero was. That'd make a lot of people very happy, I feel.
Yeah, the great, Turtle Rock clip that lets you skip most of the dungeon. And is legal, because there are a variety of clips that would let you do that. They're just not allowed in this category.
That's fair. My personal favorite way to bypass that is just play cross keys. Boom, hop into Laser Bridge, no biggie.
I see Freddeh in chat is playing a little game with our viewers of where the other armor is.
Shoutouts to our wonderful tracker Star, who shouldn't be making guesses concerning item locations. You have the spoiler log, my friend. Alright, so the first Moldorm today not having any real difficulty with either of our runners here, so we have another attempt here coming up for Moldorm 2, but other than that, so far so good. That being said, we do have a 7th crystal. There is, speaking of games, a wonderful game we like to play. There are 22 locations in the bottom of GT that could contain the big key. Do not give me a number, as we're going to be skipping a bunch of them. Give me instead a room and a location for that chest. Oh, as usual, Mercer and I will be abstaining since we do have access to the spoiler log, and I can only hope that our wonderful tracker in chat will be abstaining from guessing as well.
I'm gonna guess it's inside the big chest.
That's a good spot for that, actually. Well, Osse is headed that way.
bypassing most of this early stuff. Could still be in Rando Room or the Fire Bar Room. As well as Vanilla, it kind of depends on the runner as to whether they go right or left if it was Find Ice Armors, and also the key layout, because you definitely wouldn't if there were no small keys in Hope Room.
Yep, Freddeh making use of that blue mail there. Chain Chomp took a bite out of him and still alive, still walking. Alright, skipping Rando Room, so at this point we have approximately 4 locations left at our disposal. We have the wonderful and infamous Bob's Chest, so named because, well, we have a special friend there. That's an anti-fairy. And we also have 3 chests behind Ice Armos, so-called the vanilla chests that Mercer had mentioned prior.
Now he's just assumed whoever named that was a big fan of either Reboot or Twin Peaks. And we do get a small key, which was going to be necessary there, but it looks like the big key's vanilla, or vanilla-ish. Vanilla-ish it is, although that's a nice spot for the, blue boomerang.
It is, makes menuing easier, so I've been told. Doesn't work for me because my menuing's always terrible, but...
And gonna take the slightly longer path here. It does do a little bit of damage boosting.
Yeah, rooms like that are where you have to be careful because a lot of times your regular strats can be very detrimental to your very small amount of remaining health. Really nicely done though with those 2 mimic moves there. I would like to go ahead and have a public service announcement at this point. This is called the Gauntlet because it's difficult. These rooms are actually genuinely hard. Ever say a word and it just sounds weird? You have no idea why? Like, genuinely. I know, in my head, I know that word is exactly how it's supposed to be pronounced, but something in my brain just going, no, you're saying it wrong. Anyways, outside of silly word mishaps, because it's not like my job is to talk right now anyways, Osse just blew through those rooms and almost said Moldorm too. Help me, Mercer, help me, please.
Sure. Freddie's got, Trinex down, gonna join Osse in GT momentarily as, Osse's doing his best to lead first. On pace for a pretty good time here, assuming everything goes okay from this point. Pulls out the lamp. Gonna have to grab the magic refill here, but that's not too bad.
It's not. It also prevents you from having to deal with a potential tower despawn, although that was close. That was a really fast first torture.
Well, Osse was waiting on the chime to proceed. It does have to get a key here. Remembers to get the key here. Definitely plenty of runners have forgotten that over the years.
I'm pretty sure that everyone's forgotten it once. I feel like that's just a rite of passage. Moldorm 2 being a little cheeky there, but Osse having no issue. Wonder if we're going to get an opening of the last chest here. Nope.
Freddeh is taking a slightly different route here, grabbing an extra key or two.
Alright, so it's time for everyone's favorite math test. Agonometry 101 is about to commence.
And Freddeh grabs Butter Sword there out of the map chest in GT.
Oh, that blue ball there preventing a 3 cycle. I'm pretty sure Osse's only 1 hit away. Yep.
Looks like you're correct. Gonna head here into the Ganon fight. On pace for quite a good time. Not quite gonna be sub 50, but depending on how this fight goes, 52-ish.
Alrighty, and here we go. Alright, so it seems like Ganon is mistaking us for someone else, as we only drove off his former self once this game.
Well, I'm sure at this point, the first one has gone into great despair from, being neglected.
That's a good point. We do not have silver, so we're going to be doing some lovely spins to finish off this fight. We're going to need 12 of them.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I was just going to say, Ganon about to tell us where silvers are.
They're on the pad, right? Nope, never mind.
No, armor was on the pad. They were in Pyramid Fairy, in fact, with Turtle Rock as one of our 5-6 crystals. So, if Osse has trouble here, can go get the bigger bomb.
Yeah, we're gonna need 53 more rupees for that, so I don't think it's gonna be super likely. Wow! That hitbox for that fire bat was stupid close! Holy cow! Cutting off some hair there. That was literally one of those safe by like a pixel
I
moments.
think there's one more hit to go. Yep, there it is.
Mercer Counter Extraordinaire. We have a 3x1 bridge to get through real quick. And then you guys can go ahead and get your GGs in chat for Osse. Alrighty, Osse finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 14 seconds. Keep in mind that time does include the 15-minute spoiler log. So, yeah, 52 minutes and 14 seconds. Pretty quick race overall. And the Triforce just giving us a lovely GG. Alright, so Freddeh not too far behind here. Gonna go ahead and skip the refill room and go through the gauntlet himself. That is the last arrow that we have, so hopefully won't be needing those anywhere.
Yeah, it may have some strats that involve using them, but shouldn't need any more arrows. Oh, and then the arrows are around sunrise anyway.
It doesn't matter, as the Zizaks are part of the arrow pack anyway, so just arrows in all corners of the room. I have never seen anyone successfully able to grab a stinking heart in that room without losing it. Once
the Butter Sword dismuse gets through there and quick 2-cycle. We are joined by our winner of today's race, Osse. Congratulations.
Okay, thanks. I didn't entirely see what happened to Freddie, but I was watching enough to see that I was ahead.
Yeah, really kind of two places I think were pretty decisive. Had to struggle to find Ice Palace. Did it magic in Ice Palace after going there before each pod. Just had to get up to enough to break the shell on Cold Stare, and that definitely cost some time, and then took an unfortunate death on Helmasaur.
That was pretty much it. It's pretty safe to say that your strat of running up the mountain and grabbing that fighter sword pretty early up on top of Spec Rock ended up being the correct choice in this one, because Freddeh did not do that until the end. And overall, that sword just saved you a bunch of time between the Thieves' Town dashing, which Freddeh took a death there as well, just as he opened up the attic, and then just making boss fights easier, like Cold Stare and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, also, as Freddeh gets ready for this Aga 2, he does mention in chat he just realized he signed up for Fire Rod Silverless on one bar of magic. It is Butter Sword, actually, so only 12 hits. Don't have to go for the fully perfect. Also, both of you took deaths in Thieves' Town, but his was worse than yours. I think it was also a difference. This was in the attic. Yours was like in the fight section.
Yeah, I had 4 hearts going into Thieves, which isn't the most comfortable thing, because everything there does 2 damage. And I just happened to jump off of ledges onto 2 Zazaks. But Attic's a big time loss, comparatively.
Alright, with that said, we're about to see a strat that Freddeh does not seem to be fully comfortable with. We'll see if we can pull off a Fire Rod Lamp Portuguese, I should say.
Speaking of fights I'm not comfortable with, I didn't want to have to do Hammer Blind.
Yeah, that's something Freddeh did, and that saved you quite a bit of time, too.
It is one of the things I was practicing before the race. On 4 hearts, it can easily go wrong.
On 4 hearts, pretty much anything can go wrong. Let's be perfectly honest here. Like, 4 hearts is fine until you get hit, then it's all of a sudden not fine. Yeah, very nicely done. You are guaranteed a spot in the top 8. Is there anyone you are looking forward to, hoping to face, maybe trying to get a rematch or something for the bracket stage?
Not really. It's like, if I want a rematch, then Peaky Pals, sure. I think I can take him. I wanted to race with Zelda because of how much we were practicing together last tournament. But that already happened, so now it's just give me a match against Kyung at some point. So we'll see how we compare.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could join the line there. I think there are a decent amount of people who want to match with Kyung at this point. I'm looking forward to as many of them as I can get my hands on, because everybody in this top 8 is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, even with this loss, based on how the tiebreakers for this are going to work, there's a really solid chance Freddeh gets in here. That was his last shot. He needs to get the ball out. There it is.
Count it. Alrighty, with that being said, Freddeh has a 1x3 bridge to cross. So as soon as he has done so, go ahead and get your GGs in chat. And there we go. Freddeh finishes in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 8 seconds. So just sub-hour if you do not include the spoiler log time. And we are joined in the booth by Freddeh. GG.
GG's. Yeah, that's not my best seed in the world, but that's what I get for playing a bit riskier than I normally would, because I know you have a pretty decent execution advantage on me. But GG's though, it's fun. Fun seed.
Yep, GG. Like, deaths are the one thing that you don't want to see.
Yeah. The Thieves Town one wasn't that bad. Like, it was at least the bombed the thing first. But that was the pod one was not great. I think I was one hit away from killing him too. Tail swipe.
Yeah, Helmasaur is a pretty sneaky boss, especially on low health.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing okay. It's Helmasaur, and then all of a sudden you're not doing.
I mean, that's why I went to Ice Palace first. I wanted Master Sword for it, but yeah, maybe going to get that sword on the mountain was a better idea.
I think the sword sped up like so many fights.
Yeah. I mean, most of the fights that it usually would speed up isn't too bad. But did you get it before blind?
Yeah, I activated Flute and then went right there.
Yeah, that would have been the time to do it, because having it for blind and Master Sword for Moth is definitely.
I thought you were gonna get it after Moth and get Blue Mail.
Yeah, I mean that would also make sense getting Blue Mail earlier. I just figured I'd just do it all on the way up to the rest of the stuff. I wasn't expecting to have quite as many problems with Pod or Ice Palace, though it was mostly Pod. I also was expecting to use that red potion, if not at Moth, then sometime later. Instead, I had to use it for blind, because I didn't want to die to blind. Which, in hindsight, I don't know. I didn't get hit other than 1 heart more, but yeah, it was.
Well, that's frequently how it works. If you're sitting on a couple hearts and you drop a potion, you probably won't have needed it.
The only reason I knew Ice Rod was on friggin' race games because chat's like, Divergence! I'm like, what Divergence? There's not much to divert after this point. And I was like, wait a second, where's Ice Rod at? Check for Ice Rod. Oh. Whoops. I'll just do it on the way to getting the cane.
That would have been pretty funny, actually.
And then I forgot to grab Ether. For some reason I thought it was Hookshot on the island, not Ether. And I already had Ether for some reason for Meyer. I don't know. It was just too many minor mishaps and a couple bad deaths, and that's about 5 minutes.
Actually had in my route that leaving Skullwoods, I was gonna water walk down to Ether, but then decided against it. Flippers and Lamp right there.
Yeah. Getting Flippers was like, it's like, should I? Do I need to? Like, I wasn't going to, then I saw the Ether medallion, like, it's fine. I think it's actually faster to just skip Lamp and do the rest. Because there's not really any consequential dark rooms.
Yeah, it was just
like Meyer.
Pod Eastern.
Pod's a little bit slower, but not much. Same with Eastern, yeah. Like I think I saved a bit of time on you just saving quitting out of Skullwoods and skipping Lamp.
Yeah, probably.
Save and quit's a lot faster now. But you were up Ice Rod and a sword at that point too, so it wasn't like I was ahead of you really. It just seemed like it for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Did you
it's
also
often-
die?
I died in the front of Thieves.
Oh, it was the front of these down. Okay. Because it sounded like I saw 2 Fs happen. I'm like, I must have died somewhere too.
Yeah, I picked up the big key and then jumped off ledge and died.
Ah, nice. And then came back for the book?
No, I never got the book.
Oh, it was marked off on the tracker.
No, score screen says no book.
Looks at star. No, just kidding. Trackers are great. Love them all. Yeah, I don't know. I figured blue mail was worth it. I probably, if I knew I was closer, I would have probably grabbed the powder, but I was behind, so I figured I'd just do the blue mail on the way. And I don't know which would be faster, grabbing blue mail or mirroring for Sahasrara. Probably about the same.
Yeah, don't think there's a huge difference in time between those. I do think your route to grab flippers was faster, at least at that point. I didn't maybe because you had to do pod dark rooms twice, it ended up worse in the end, but that was not something you really count on at that point.
Yeah, honestly, the sword grab pays for itself immediately just going through the bushes on the way to Thieves Town. That's like worth the trip to Spectacle Rock by itself. Almost.
That's probably true. Yeah, I don't really think there were any like huge decisions in the seed other than that in terms of routing. Like there wasn't really a ton of major divergence. You did some dungeons slightly out of order, which is sometimes the way with
I mean, that's just
seeds.
yeah. Did you grab Hook Shot before Ice Palace as well, or after Ice Palace?
My hook shot was
Or
after
earlier.
Mini Mold.
Oh, you did go there after Mini Moldorm? Okay. I thought about that, but figured I could just grab it because I didn't really need it for anything else.
Yeah, it's like not that useful of an item in this. Don't really know
Yeah.
when best to fit it.
Yeah, that's right. We had a green pendant swamp that you didn't have to go into for once.
I was excited for a little bit because I saw all the pendants. I'm like, oh, I don't have to do desert, don't have to do swamp. Meyer has a shovel. I should check that. Oh, why? So, like, okay. Only had to dip 1 pendant dungeon, still not that bad and didn't have to do Aga 1. Like, it really wasn't that bad of a seed.
Would have been a little friendlier on health, though. Not gonna lie there.
To be fair, it wasn't that bad. It was just, a lot of it was just enough out of the way to skip. Like, that powder and heart was easily accessible.
It's a good point. Our tracker in chat pointing out that that Kana Samaria spot was just really, really mean in general.
Yeah, that really was. On a non-spoiler, that would have been pretty awful. Especially after that Kakariko.
Yeah, that would not make it any better. No, that would be bad.
But yeah, so that's the end of Swiss for both of y'all. I like we mentioned, Osse definitely making top 8. Freddeh, honestly, probably making top 8 given tiebreakers coming into the week. But how do y'all feel about the way Swiss went for you?
Way better than expected. Let's go with that. Yeah, and I guess, like you said, I'm probably getting in. Kind of depends. I'm definitely rooting for Christos this week, but other than that, not many of the games should matter too much for me. Other than complicated math that I don't feel like getting into. But yeah, it should be fine, and we'll see how playoffs goes. Let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in this field, making top 8 or being, close even is a pretty good accomplishment because the top like 30 players of this field are crazy good.
Yeah, there's some people I would be scared to play against that are currently 3-3 and just out of the running for brackets. It's like, eh.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes, though. This is a situation where, honestly, for a spoiler log race in particular, it's probably one of the hardest types of race to do. And if you at any point make a mistake against another good runner, you basically have to hope that they make a mistake. Because if they don't, you're done. You've lost. There's no way around it. There is so little time that like a minute or a minute and a half or 2 minutes or even 30 seconds can be completely and totally unrecoverable.
Definitely.
Yep, and then playing against better people also makes you want to skip more because that's precious seconds that matter a lot, which makes it scarier for like actually finishing dungeons and stuff as well.
Yeah, and that whole dying thing is a pain in the butt too.
Yeah, it tends to waste time, I hear. Or as I demonstrated, I should say.
Hey, at least you got the hole open. We weren't sure about that.
We were on Osse's
Barely.
audio at the time, so like, and I wasn't looking at your screen, so I was legitimately uncertain because I saw that the explosion was happening, but not whether it had finished or not.
Yeah, it had barely opened. Like it was. I heard the ding-a-ling right when I got hit, basically.
I thought I saw it open, but I was not sure. I was like, well, let's hope Freddie knows, because if he doesn't, he's going to be coming back up here no matter what.
Well, probably you'd dip into blind room to check if you legitimately didn't know, I think. But
Yeah.
That's fair. I keep forgetting you can do that and then come back out.
yeah. So any last thoughts on the seed before we kind of wrap things up here?
I'm good. GG's, Ossie. Good luck in the playoffs.
Yep. GG, Freddie. Hope you make it.
Yeah, so there is, so again, give both our runners here a follow. Ossie and Freddie both put on a great show. There should be a link in chat for that. Shoutouts as well to our tracker for today, Star1468, as well as my co-com Hammer. If you're interested in more spoiler tournament action, there's one other match being restreamed tonight that is in progress over on the main SpeedGaming channel. Probably getting close to the end at this point. Hydropower versus 140. Also, stay tuned to see what matches end up restreamed over the weekend as we wrap up the tournament, determine who our playoff participants are going to be. I know probably a lot of people got their eye on the Christos Owen versus Zelgatis matchup. Kian versus Faraime is tomorrow at 8:15. We'll probably get a restream, hopefully. Just kind of keep an eye on SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 for information on those. Hammer, you want to take us out with any last words?
Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead. Thanks for comming with me, Mercer. It's always a blast to come with you. Since you've been busy running this tournament, I haven't had a chance to come with you as much as I
don't.
like to.
Oh, yeah, I was playing in it. Okay, I was like, I am not an administrator.
No. But you were running. Sorry, I meant running as in racing. My bad. I need to be more specific with my verb usage there. So for those of you who haven't gotten a complete fill, just to give a little more info on Mercer's comment here, we do have a race going on SpeedGaming, and they started about 15 minutes late. So we're only like 30 minutes in right now. They look to be about halfway done, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. So there's still a decent amount of rando left to play there. That's all we've got. We do have a bunch more fun races coming up, and then stay tuned for the brackets because we're going to have every race from this point forward is just going to be absolutely nuts. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. It was a blast comming with you, Mercer. Everyone have a good night and stay safe.